Well, hello, wherever you are. It is Sarah Jane, and I'm coming to you today with your daily dose of body mind medicine, where I really want to talk to the continuation of the topic that we covered in the 5 day mini Talk to the Animal course. And when we were speaking to the death and the dying process yesterday, so many of you, thank you for your words of inspiration, for your encouragement, for your appreciation for my little offering, and how deeply you were touched by the different point of view that animals have around leaving their physical body suits. And as I wrote in the intro of today's video, that I really do believe that learning to grieve well allows us the space to really honor and celebrate the life shared when our animals and our beloved human companions leave us, and that it's a very intrinsic part of healing is the grieving and the celebrating, the life lessons, the love, the joy, the laughter, and how many of you can relate? I certainly can, to my animals that shared my life, my cat Satchmo and Red Red, who were with me through thick and thin, through the beautiful celebrations of my life, and also the worst time of my life when I was racked with grief at having to leave them, when I had a total breakdown and was separated from my animals and then later reunited with them. But I want to just share a couple of ways that you can honor your animals in spirit, from the other side, and also keep the connection by um, giving you a physical anchor until you meet again. A lot of people have said to me that having a piece of their horsehair made into jewelry, or a tattoo of their dog on a part of their body, keeps that connection for them to be able to still communicate and feel their presence, in a deeper way from spirit. Remember that you meet your animals in spirit when they cross over and leave their body suits. Your highest soul meets their highest soul when they pass and transition. So having things like jewelry, where you have a piece of your horse's hair or your animal's fur in it, in the resin, or interwoven into the piece of jewelry, is a beautiful way to honor them. And I know that for me, since I was a child, we used to bury the bodies of our departed animals underneath their favorite trees in the garden. And we were able to visit them and I used to sit there and have long conversations with my animals about the things that were concerning or worrying me. So planting a tree or a bush is a beautiful way to honor them, their memory, and also give back to nature in a good way, because the trees are our lungs, just as the oceans are, to help us to grow. And I'm really excited that even now they're offering seed pods for people, instead of being cremated and putting the ashes of your loved one into a box or into a wall. um, to be able to take that and use it, just like the phoenix rising, as the nutrients and the nourishment for a new life to grow, is a beautiful thing, and a beautiful way to honor your animals and your people that are passing, is to create a seed pod and put them back into the earth in a way that new life can grow. I love that we can sort of celebrate life and birth, as well as we can celebrate the end, because we all know that that is the feeding cycle of life. And when you do cremate your animals, ask for their bodies back. Ask for their ashes back if your animal needs assistance in the dying process, because the sad, horrific fact of the multi-million-dollar protein food, the kibble industry, all the animals that are euthanized, that are dead, deceased, and dying, so unfit for human consumption, as well as your animals' bodies, go back into the food chain. They go back into the dried kibble, protein food, and shocking amounts of phenobarbital. So the drug that's used to stop your animal's heart is showing up in a lot of these dried foods, because they end up back in the food system. So always ask for your animal's ashes or their body back, and then find a beautiful space that on your property where you can bury them and visit them. Even though their soul and their spirit is no longer in their physical bodysuit, it's lovely to have a place to be able to go and connect with them. And having jewelry, or as I said, a tattoo, or a dog tag, putting your dog's tag or your cat's bell onto a piece of jewelry is a beautiful way to just remember the beautiful joy and the love that you shared with your animal. And always remember too, and this is something that one of my nursing clients actually reminded me of, when she said that all nurses, so if you know any nurses or people that are in hospices, they have their own rituals for allowing the soul to leave the body. Um, and they just know to open a window so that the soul can pass out the window and return the to the to the spirit world without any blockages or stoppages along the way. Is if you do have your animal passes and you have their collar still, open the clip on it. I don't know what it is, but it's, looking at an ankh or looking at a biogeometry pendulum. I don't have mine on at the moment. Even though it's a circle, it's open on the one side so that the energy can move through and around it. So opening your deceased animal's collar, and then perhaps hanging it up or putting it on a place where you hold an altar or a shrine, or some place that you actively meditate, or do your yoga or whatever it is that you do, is a great way to allow the energy to move. So always open their collar. Don't leave it clipped once they've passed. And there's so many incredible people out there offering beautiful ways to honor and keep the spirit of the animal alive and with you in soul paintings. My friend Roxanne Baker is a beautiful artist who really captures the essence and the spirit of your animals, and is a beautiful way to memorialize them. Or having a just give me a second, because I'm just trying to feel into this, because there's so many ways to embody that. Is in pet portraiture. My friend Emma O'Brien, amazing woman, with an incredible gift of being able to really capture again the essence of your animal, is have photographs taken of them through different sort of milestones of their life, so that when you pass, you have the memory of them in their vital life force energy. Is a beautiful way to do it. Or to, just like we do when babies are born, or a lot of women have belly casts made when they're pregnant. It's a beautiful way to keep that energy and that connection, is have a little plaster mold made of your cat's paw or your dog's paw. One of my clients had her dog Pirate, a beautiful French bulldog, who, when they laid concrete down at their barn, Pirate accidentally, but not because he knew exactly what he was doing, left his paw prints in the newly setting cement, so that long after his physical body was no longer there, every time his person came to the barn, they were his paw prints to connect her and to really remember and appreciate the time that they had together. And of course, you can do that with plaster Paris or lots of ways, and then put them in box frames or mount them, or as I said before, put them on your altar. So I really love the paw print idea or the hoof print. And if you do have horses that do wear shoes, you can make a beautiful light stand or some kind of 3D art out of your horse's shoes, or their bridles, so that you can keep their memory alive and very much with you. I think it's so comforting to be able to have all these beautiful creative ways to keep that going, and keep you in this place of active appreciation when you feel sad or you're missing your animal companion, that you can turn to that by just kind of rubbing on your necklace or rubbing on your bracelet or gazing at their paw print or their photograph or their witness, because all energy changes shape and form, just like your own signature is unique to you. It's that dialing in on the frequencies so that you can hear messages from spirit in a good way. And they're really all variations of what I call anchors, where you can get that direct, clear line of communication between you and those that are no longer with you in physical form. So I hope that has given you some some joy and some peace in knowing that even though your animal companion is no longer with you, you can keep that connection very, very strong through different ways of honoring your animal in spirit, through jewelry, through tattoos. The only thing I would say about tattoos is that with what I know around meridian pathways and Wei Chi, um, be mindful of where you put tattoos. It kind of freaks me out when I hear people putting tattoos up their spine or up their divine line or somewhere that kind of crosses the midline. So things like belly rings and piercings on critical meridian pathways, energy flows like that, it breaks the circuit, and your body then has to find a secondary meridian pathway to flow, which takes extra effort and extra energy to do. So just be mindful of where you put tattoos, because you are breaking your body's Wei Chi. And oftentimes we see this in adhesions, which are deep breaks in bones where perhaps they've healed over and there's some calcification, or in superficial scarring, which tattooing is. And of course, we have to wonder what's in the ink. I know that there's been some scares around the kinds of ink, and also where the person who is doing the art on your skin and where their mind is at the time. So really do your background checks on people before you go and just have a tattoo done anywhere, and just create the space, even in the process of tattooing or where you are scarring your skin, that the intention is pure and for the highest, greatest good of you and that connection that you had with your animals. And also, what's been coming up a lot this week, and particularly today, I've had a lot of work to do with crazy cat ladies who I adore and their beloved feline companions, or should I say, the servants that we are to the felines. Is that there's been a lot of behavioral changes, aggression, um, peeing outside of sandboxes, spraying, all sorts of crazy stuff going on in packs that have actually been quite balanced and some that are newly integrated. Is don't forget that a lot of times when things start going wrong, like one of my clients today who said that literally paintings and mirrors and medicine cabinets that have been screwed onto the wall have started falling off and cracking and breaking, and cell phones have stopped working. It's been an intense couple of weeks. I've certainly experienced that with one-on-one communications, and also just being in that dialed in frequency of pure light and love, that there's a lot of interference happening out there at the moment. So if you haven't already bought my special white light last Friday, I offered a very special bundle of things that I think everyone living in these times should know, including what the different entities and spirit guides and animal guides are, how they come into your life, what oversouling is, what trickster prankster entities are, and how to clear detrimental energies and detrimental energy impregnation where there's demon infested organs. They can play havoc with your life. And also, um, your animals are going to show you that. So if your animals are kind of staring off into space or barking at something in the corner that you can't see, know that there are some entities there that are not friendly, and you might want to know how to clear those. So um, one of the reasons why I wanted to give you my entire entities, talk to the entities and animals, animal spirits and team players and your guides, and know, empower you to really learn that it's nothing to be afraid of, and it's actually very vital to be able to know how to clear the land, and clear your spaces and clear entities that might be attached to your body or your animal's body. Even things like going under, um, what do you call that? Anesthetic. So, you know, when they put you under, if you're going in for a minor or major procedure, and you sometimes I've had people say, what have you done with my wife? This is not my wife, or had organ transplants or cornea transplants. Is that you often pick up detrimental energies from the person that donated the organs or the cornea or whatever it is. And even in taking, I can't find my words today. Hi, Sherry. But even taking glandulars, you know, the thyroid from an ox to help you to heal your thyroid issues. How that animal was killed, how it was reared, how it was, you know, if there was no honor or ceremony and appreciation or gratitude for that animal's sacrifice so that you can actually receive the glandular, for example, the thyroid glandular or whatever it is, or the organ, that's or even eating the flesh of an animal. A lot of times, how the animal died is going to affect the consciousness of whatever it is that you're ingesting. So I think one of the simplest ways to keep that clear and congruent is to give grace, give thanks, give honor, and do ceremony in whatever you're putting into your body or on your body, to assist you in keeping vital, or your animals in keeping vital, is really, really important. And of course, knowing how to work with detrimental entities or energies, and being able to honor the people that maybe lived on the land long before you. And some of them don't know that they don't even have bodies anymore, and they hang around waiting for their family to come and get them. And I had a lot of that I had to clear on this property, because it used to be uh, part of a farm long time ago, and part of the natural ley lines that the Bushmen used to follow. And there was one little guy that I could see all the times. You know, when you kind of see the flashes, or you just feel somebody watching you. They're not always negative, but you want to be able to use the entity tools in my package, in my program, to ask them, what are you doing here? Do you know you don't have a body anymore? That you can leave now? That thank you for whatever you were doing here, but you are no longer, your services are no longer required. To fire them, and also to give them the choice to know, okay, I don't have to stay here anymore, not in my body. Oftentimes, if an animal or a person has died very suddenly from, you know, um, car crashes are a great example of that. Oftentimes, they get thrown out, the spirit, the soul gets thrown out of the body so quickly that the being doesn't know that they're no longer alive. And why your animal communications can be so helpful, in working with entities can be life changing, if you know what to do with them. So, just a side note on how to honor your animals, and also to give them a clear, open channel to leave, is such a beautiful gift. So I hope you found that helpful. If you want to know more about entities and how to work with your team players or your animal guides, or their power animals, or animals that just come in to support you, with a particular challenge or question that you're asking for, have a look at my entity program, where I also included my 5 top life-saving first aid hands-on or off-body processes that you can use um, to support people when and animals when you're in an emergency or crisis situation. And let me know what else you'd like me to speak to. I would love to contribute to you with that. Hi, Sherry. Nice to have you here. Um, and let me know if you've had animals that have passed, how you've honored and kept that beautiful connection with your animals and spirit open and clear until you meet them again. I would love to know some of your novel and creative ways that you have honored the life that you shared with your loved ones. And I will meet you there. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.